Hi, I'm Tim Keeshan and welcome to my studio. This is a new series I am starting and it is Artist Studios. So this here is Pete's studio. So Pete was a roommate of mine in college and I lived with him in different houses over the years. So it's always nice to come back and visit Pete's studio because it reminds me of my good old college days. Pete has made a career in education, so he is a teacher for high school students. And not only he produces or teaches a curriculum of art, but he also creates an environment for his students to kind of hang out during the day. So it's kind of neat because he's able to be, in some ways, a father to some kids that don't have the opportunity of having a father. So all that structure of guidance. So it's really neat to see that. Alamo, California is near San Francisco, and it's a town that was zoned as estuarine, so people who live there could have a horse. And so these pieces of property are quite large, and all of them house some kind of a barn. So it kind of reminds me of that TV show Mr. Ed. That's actually a classic example of those communities that were out in California. California had a very strong connection to the horse, and I think it still does today. So that's kind of neat lure of the West. This painting was a really challenging painting because it had to deal with the sense of depth, and it also had to deal with texture of trees, and it was very challenging, almost intimidating. But I was able to use the good leverage of the color magenta, and that really helped kind of use it as a tool for depth and a tool for shade and atmosphere. So it's kind of really neat how it really contrasts with all the green too. In my Alamo series, I have painted a barn before, and that was quite some time back, and this is I think like the year 2015. And here you can kind of see the difference of development in my painting. So one of the things that are really interesting is that background of magenta, and having the magenta really does allow me to give me some leverage in creating depth and texture and contrast. So this fence in the background here was able to be really pulled out. Well, here in this painting, I used a black background. So I actually, at this particular time in my development of my art, I actually painted directly onto the gesso. So later on, I developed to put a barrier or layer of color down first and then paint on top of that. So it really helps because of the texture of the tooth of the canvas is so hard to fight when it's against the gesso. But once you have a coat on there, it makes the color process or painting process very smooth. So it's always cool to go back to the studio at Peter's house, and it's kind of neat to reminisce of the good old days. So without further ado, let's see how this one was made.